So this is rental car number 62, and today I'm driving the 2017 Hyundai Elantra GT. So GT is not really a trim level. It means that this is the hatchback version of the Elantra. So this car MSRP is at about $19,800, and it comes in electric metallic blue, which I think is nice and pretty on a rainy day like today. But anyway, let's pop open the hood and take a look at what's underneath. So this is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. This one happens to be a 6-speed automatic. Kicks out about 173 horsepower. You get decent fuel economy, and you should because it's a smaller car. 24 in the city and 32 on the highway with a 13.2-gallon tank. The fuel cap door is located on the driver's side on all Hyundais. I gotta say that's my preference lately. And you have the standard twist-off cap. Nothing fancy here. Driving this car was, well, it was nice. It was decent. Nothing really special about the Elantra. I do know that the 2018 now has a sport version, which is supposed to have a lot more acceleration. So if you're looking for something a little bit more aggressive, you might consider checking that out. Otherwise, this drives like your standard small hatchback. Corners pretty nicely. And I'm happy to say that the cabin noise was pretty decent. Let me give you a quick taste. The inside of this car is, I think, what you'd expect for around $20,000. It's nice and comfortable, but there aren't a ton of amenities. Let's start with the key fob. You just get 3 buttons, lock, unlock, and a trunk button. Nothing on the back but the panic button. And there is actually a key for this one. It looks like this, and you insert it into the car just like you'd expect, right here on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Here's the Elantra's steering wheel. It's actually filled with quite a few buttons. Here on the left-hand side, you get your volume controls and the other controls to interact with the entertainment, along with your phone buttons down here. You get your trip buttons down here, and then on the right-hand side, you get your cruise controls. Up above, you have a nice gauge cluster, RPMs on the left, speedometer on the right, and 2 small digital displays. The one on top shows you some information about the vehicle, and the one down in the bottom on the middle shows you what gear you're in, along with your fuel gauge. And then over here on the left side of the steering wheel, you get all your standard buttons. Door lock and release, window controls, mirror controls, door locks, and your buttons to control the eco mode. Really what I want to show you on this side is the side view mirror. I like that Hyundai has included this little cutout up on the top left corner to give you sort of an additional view of the road. I really like this, even more than blindside detection. I guess my only complaint is that you don't have the same thing on your passenger side mirror. And then jumping over to the center console, let's start at the top. There's a CD player. You don't get a touchscreen, but you do get a small digital display. It's not very fancy. It's actually kind of basic, but I was able to hook up my phone to it and it works fine overall. And then below there, you get your passenger airbag indicator, the button to turn on your hazard lights, and then further down you get your climate controls. These work fine. I like that there's really big buttons to control everything, and I was able to adjust the temperature of the car really easily to get it to a comfortable setting. I guess my only complaint is the fan setting, and that's the dial you see right in the center with the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 settings just isn't enough. I found myself switching back and forth between 1 and 2 quite a bit because really what I wanted was something in between. But this isn't a deal breaker. Look, it works fine. It's just kind of a little pet peeve of mine. A little further down, you get a nice storage area with 2 power outlets, an auxiliary jack, and a USB connection. I like that you have all this space, but it's tough to use because you do have to reach around the gear shift if you want to use it. And speaking of the gear shift, here it is. It works fine. You know, it's able to shift through those gears, but it does feel a little bit clunky and just a tad bit cheap. And then behind the gear shift, you get 2 nice size cup holders. Drinking some tea, it's kind of cold today. And then your standard parking brake. One thing I didn't like about this car is there's no real great place to keep your cell phone. You do get this cutout right here, but it's in a weird spot, so it's kind of hard to reach. So I kept mine mostly in the cup holders, and it kind of fell out as I was driving. Anyway, there's also a center armrest. With a little bit of decent storage down there. Nothing special in there. No extra ports or anything like that. And then you do get a decent sized glove box. No shelving system, but you get enough to store your owner's manual and your registration. And shifting your gaze up top, you do get two nice lights to illuminate the cabin, and a sunglass holder with a little bit of padding so you can store your sunglasses. And then below there you get a rear view mirror. Fortunately, no automatic dimming features here, just the old-fashioned switch. So that's pretty much it for the front seat. Let's jump in the back and take a look at what kind of amenities your passengers are going to get when they ride in your new Hyundai Elantra GT. First off, legroom, pretty decent. I'm 6 feet tall. I always push those seats back pretty far, but I still have, probably 3 inches of legroom, which is not bad for a small hatchback car. There is a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Nothing real special here. It feels a little bit hollow and a little bit cheap, but I'm sure it'll work. And then, unfortunately, there's no dedicated vents or any sort of power ports for your passengers. You just get a nice, clean-looking center armrest. But this is a hatchback, so you got to take full advantage of that, and you can fold down these seats really easily by pulling up on this tab right here, and then you can take full advantage of all the cargo space that the Elantra has to offer. And speaking of cargo space, let's go to the back, open up the hatch, and take a look at what the Elantra has to offer. So this is what it looks like without the seats folded down, and you do have that privacy screen up on top. There's plenty of room to store groceries and suitcases, and then when you fold those seats down, you still get quite a bit of room for some larger items, and that really is the power of the hatchback. All right, so that's all the major highlights of the Elantra GT. I have to say I drove this for 2 days, put my standard 146 miles on it, and it was a decent experience. It's a good car. So I'm going to give this one 4 stars. For under $20,000, you get a decent hatchback with some good fuel economy and some nice features. I really do like the screens that they've included, even though they're not big touchscreens. I guess what I'm saying is if you're in the market for a hatchback below $20,000, definitely check this one out. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time when I rent the 2017 Infiniti QX70. I'll see you then.